him, but you did mention the kind of the big three of these, 99 percentile prospects. And I think you even referred to him as the unicorn, right? Earlier. Yeah. That's Kyle Pitts, just an absolute freak of a tight end, which is 100% valid. People comparing him to Calvin Johnson, less of a tight end and more of a wide receiver. And so he comes in at number 6. But as you said, depending on team need and the more and more you're reading about him, you're like, maybe he's the number 1 non-QB in Superflex.
Right.
What do you love about this guy, Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I think it's he man, I feel like I'm a broken record, but like he checks all the boxes that you want for a prospect. Especially at the tight end position, because he could have come into the NFL as like a literal receiver and had a very, very strong prospect profile. But he's coming into the NFL as a tight end. He's going into a team immediately where he's the number 2 guy or 1B, essentially, with Calvin Ridley. Julio's gone. And when you're talking about difference-making elite tight ends, generally speaking, they're either the first or second target in their offense, right? You're not going to try and like target a guy who's going to be number 3 or number 4 or whatever. It's just not going to give you the volume that you want. And so I think Pitt's situation is perfect, or not perfect, but pretty good. He's the unicorn type prospect in terms of like his physical abilities. He's built differently. He's just built like to catch passes. I actually comped him to Michael Phelps in my draft guide because he's just like, he was born to be a pass catcher. He's got really long arms, really tall, like 4.4 speed. And his catch radius is massive. He's very good route runner, like all the stuff. He checks all the boxes. His production was good in college. He's a big time guy, like a gamer. And again, like he's going to a team. Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator. They obviously seem to have a plan for this guy because they drafted him so highly. They passed on Justin Fields to draft this guy. And so I think they've got a big plan for him. Everything you're hearing out of Falcons camp is that they're force feeding him, which is obviously a great thing to hear. From a real football perspective, they can move the guy around and he could be a big difference maker. But from a fantasy point of view, I think he's going to get the volume that you're looking for, and he's talented enough to do something with it. Now, I understand all like the caveats for rookie tight ends are there, and that's something that I acknowledge and I'm aware of. And even Calvin Johnson came into the league, he didn't like light it on fire immediately. But I think it's a different era, number one, where, we saw what Justin Jefferson did last year. I think teams are a little more willing to let to throw their rookies into the fire. And so I honestly, like, at this point, it's like almost you kind of almost expect he's going to break the tight end records. Like, it's just like, this is the path he's going down. So I don't, maybe that's going to be, we're going to look back and be like, what were we thinking? But that's kind of how it feels right now.
I'm with you. A big guy who plays big, the way he would just rip like Trask's ducks out of the sky.
Seriously, dude. He like bodies corners. It's like he was lined up against like first round corners and beating them.
Exactly.
Like, this guy's legit. He's talented. He reminds me of like, he's like a 3 guard, like a power forward / 3 guard, just like the way his body is built. He's so long. He's so big. He's going in there. It's just like incredible. So yeah, I just really like the guy.
I'm with you. I don't see any way this guy doesn't translate and immediately dominate, even though those rookie tight end, we know all the stats, but the outlier of all outliers for sure. And I think he's going to the perfect offense. And you mentioned the new car or whatever they called him. Like, they're just peppering him because they're so excited to have him, the most targeted guy in early camp. Like, you love to hear that stuff for sure. And I don't think it's a fluke. Arthur Smith, he was a former tight ends coach with the Titans. And, even Delaney Walker going back, he had 4 straight seasons of 800 or more yards, 100 or more targets, and only 2 tight ends and passed that 800-yard receiving mark last season. Only 5 saw more than 100 targets. And Walker did that for 4 straights with Arthur Smith as his coach. So, I mean, the guy loves tight ends, and clearly, as you said, the draft capital backs it all up. So I'm with you. I absolutely love Kyle Pitts. I love this big 3. Like, you can't really go wrong if you have a top 6 pick in a super flex draft, whether you take one of those 3 quarterbacks or you throw whatever your biggest need is between running back, receiver, or tight end there. I absolutely love it.
5 and 6 are the sweet spot. I think it's been a lot of fun. For whatever reason, I've had a couple different 5 and 6 spots this year, and I'm like, man, it's just like perfect because you can wait and see what happens. You can hold that pick hostage if you're willing to move back. So yeah, definitely it's a good spot.
Absolutely. And just to pump it, Wolfpack, if you have any questions, by all means, get them all in. I'll answer everything after the show once Danny signs off, and he'll probably want Danny's answers a little more than mine, but still, I'm happy to offer all the insights. Why I love doing the live streams is to interact with you guys. So any questions you guys have, please get them on in. If you're catching the replay, hit the comments because I just love answering questions. That's why we're here. We want to help you guys out. So please stay after the show. I'll answer any questions or anything in the comments too. Get them on in there. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.